What's up, internet? We've been in quite a bit of transition recently because it's been moving days, it's been getting out of our apartment, it's been getting ready to hit the road, and I thought I would make a video here to do, you know, a final summary of our Model Y camper, this Fruble setup, because our time with it is basically expiring. I mean, we're gonna be going out on this 6-month journey with the Rivian R1S, and the Model Y, which has served us so well, which I've enjoyed camping in so much, is no longer gonna be in my life for the next 6 months. I am basically leaving this vehicle here at my parents' house, allowing them to use it so they can utilize the full self-driving technology to get around when they travel. They don't travel that often. They don't leave the house that often, if I'm honest, but you know, for doing little errands around town or going to family reunions that come up here and there in like Las Vegas or whatever, they'll be able to use this vehicle, and I think it's going to be very helpful for them. But I wanted to show you guys what's up with the Fruble, answer a few questions that came up here and there. Just got to move my big red Bluetti battery. It's a 700 watt hour Bluetti. I believe it was like the EB70 is what that was called. And here's another overview of how this works, right? So you saw my previous videos about this. It's like pretty intuitive the way this works. You've got a drawer here, access from the top. Thus far I've been keeping these Uco mess kits. These are a pretty neat mess kit. It's a pretty familiar staple of backpacking gear. If you know it, open it up, you got a bowl and you got a plate, and then you're able to fit some sporks and knives in there. It's a silverware cutlery set. So we got 2 of them, one for me, one for the wife. We're actually going to bring these with us when we travel with the R1S. And our $20 pump that's obviously broken. So I'm going to transfer these out. The bag for my Tesla charger. Got a few odds and ends in here I have to discard. This goes into the discard pile. Got solar connector and the AC power adapter for the Bluetti charger. Also put these down. So yeah, the way that Fruble designed this was with the intention of plumbing, so that if you had your water pump, you'd have your hose go here, or if you had electrical, power would go here, and you could keep your battery down below, which is the sub frunk right there. Got this Tesla mattress that I bought used, test camp mattress, kept in there. So you could keep stuff in your sub frunk there, right? It's the main idea. And there's another gentleman who mentioned in comments that he only had one sub frunk cover, but I think he hadn't yet taken into account the second sub frunk, quote unquote. It's this storage area back here that the Fruble sits on top of in order to give you this flat surface. So normally that second sub frunk is a very thin, narrow storage space, right? Like you can kind of see it really only goes up until here, up until there. But by having this Fruble assembled on it, you now have like a much taller space here, and you can store pillows and other stuff. That's what we did, at least. Coming into it from the front, or not from the front, from second row of seats. Here are the 2 covers, right? Here's the wooden supports for the Fruble front kit. I'll put this together to do one last demo of how this works. And I'll also talk through one of the few disadvantages to this system compared to using the Model Y stock, right? Because when you use the Model Y as a camper, just in its stock, you have a slight incline where you have the slight incline of the back of these seats, because you got flat space from the subfronts back, but then once you get up into the seat back here, you got a slight incline, and you also don't have head support here. So the top of your mattress can be like dangling off the edge here, and you have to play Tetris with your belongings to basically stack stuff up here to give you a support. So the Fruble camper kit solves that by using your subfront covers like so. Placed it on this board, or on this this little assembly for support. Now you've got like a perfectly flat, right? Perfectly flat platform on which to lay your bed, and you've got support for your head. Which overall, this is nice, makes for an improved experience. But I would say the one downside is that now that you have this and this is rigid, this thing only works with your chairs pushed all the way up. And because of the size of this, and this has to rest over top there, you see you're resting on the back of your center armrest and the AC vent. You have a little bit less flexibility in terms of how you want to set up and lay out, and you're a lot more like rigid or on the rails, so to speak, with how you have to move all of your chairs up in order to deploy this. And also, when you're going back and forth rapidly from driving mode to camping mode, there's nowhere else really to put these, and the only thing you can really do is something like this. You gotta pull this up, and then maybe this might fall like this or might fall like that, and then your mattress that's on top, your air mattress, might be getting pushed up and stuff. And what that naturally leads to is a situation where, you say you're in your car, when you get out to do your thing and you want to set up for camping, you now have to go back here, and you first have to, after pushing all of your seats forward, adjust your board, put your board up, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal, but it does feel like a little bit of a friction point, adding one more step. And really, it's not just about adding one more step, it's about adding a step that you have to do with this door open. You can't just, like, when you're setting up with the stock setup, you can go from the front, you can like get out of the front seats, move the front seats forward, go directly to the back, hop in, and get going, and get settled in, right? And you don't have to move the seats as far forward, because if you've got like stuff in your footwell, right? You got like items. If you've got items back here to provide you enough head support, you might only need head support that goes out to like here or here, depending on how tall you are. But with this setup, it's always going to go all the way out. So your chairs always have to be squished like pretty far forward. And it just adds a tiny bit of time to your whole setup. What I think would be ideal, if I were not upgrading to a new vehicle and I were continuing to use the system, one thing I would build to really fine tune this is, instead of using the stock boards that came with the Model Y, I would build a second piece to replace these two and customize the length to maybe be somewhere out here or here, so that it doesn't have to be as far out, and it would be easier to keep the board out, and you won't have to do this added step of opening this side door and then, basically doing this, right? Because that looks really simple right now, but if you've got a mattress on this, and then your mattress has like covers and sheets and all that sort of stuff, like lifting that up to access this and then like wiggle it into place, it can be a little bit of a pain point, you know? If you could do it so that you no longer have to do that, right? So your doors are closed and all you have to do is get out of your front seat, come to the back, open your tailgate, and then you can hop right in. Like, that would be a little bit better, you know, a little bit of an improvement. And that's why I think like the one improvement I would make is build a custom board to replace these two in the setup and have that either be a little bit shorter. But even if it wasn't a little bit shorter, if you made a single piece that was the same length, it would be a little bit easier to use, because then instead of like having to access from the back, it would be back here, right? So you would like lift it, pull the whole thing back like this, and at the very least, to set up, you would only have to open one door, right? You'd only have to open your tailgate, push it. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a relatively like small pain point, right? Relatively minor. Overall, I've gotten really good use out of this Fruble camper. Had a lot of fun with it when we were traveling. We got a lot of these like sticker collections, different places we went to, different cool spots we visited on our travels in this Model Y. A lot of really good memories. We went to the Hoh River, Kalaloch Lodge. This place was awesome on the coast of Washington. This is nearby the famous like tree of heaven, right? It was like this tree that was straddling an erosion cut in a bluff hillside right on the beach. And we visited it twice, once back in 2020 and again last year. And in 2020, it was still straddling that erosion cut. And last year, the erosion cut had gotten so wide, the tree had fallen into the ravine. Lake Crescent was an awesome place. Obviously, Sequoia is where we saw the General Sherman, largest tree in the world, largest tree by volume. The Fruble. These are cool little shops that we visited when we were in Seattle, and obviously in Bishop. This is like Bishop Godzilla themed ramen place. It's kind of funny sticker. And this place, this is like a Seattle Vietnamese cafe and coffee drip place that was super awesome. These guys had like a CBD and functional mushroom shop in is it Calabria, I think, Cambria, somewhere in there on the California coast. Really cool central California town. Yeah. We got this at Vroman's, which is one of the coolest bookstores I've ever been to. It's a huge bookstore in Pasadena. Highly recommend it. Portland, Oregon gift store, Tahoe. That was last New Year's. That was a cool trip with family. And shout out to the guys at Lightship. We're going to be getting a Lightship in the near future. So I also had a question about how this attaches to the car. And the overall ground truth is that this isn't really attached to the car. It's just resting in here. So you can lift it all the way up. You can kind of see you got a base plate here that basically fits into the groove of your sub trunk. And this was also like fine cut, right? You can see that it's fine cut to fit into there, right? So those little ledges there are designed for where your sub trunk cover like folds up. It holds your sub trunk cover so you can access your sub trunk with the stock setup. But because I am letting my parents use this vehicle, they don't really need this. They don't really need this storage space. Taking this guy out, and I'm going to put it into my room until the next time I use this as a Model Y camper. So, kind of see how all this fits together. Lay it down. Set it down right here real quick. right? So now you have an idea what it looks like, and we'll get it back to stock right now. So, some random pieces of junk here and there. Gonna have to get this guy vacuumed out. We spent some time at the car wash. But yeah, here's your second sub front cover that I was talking about. We had that one user ask, like, oh, what do you mean second sub front? I only have one sub front. Well, it's true, technically true, one sub trunk, but it's hard to say exactly what this second storage area there would be called. Is it also a sub trunk? Another bonus storage space? Hard to say. It's the space that goes right on top of the mounting of the motors. Place this. Look at that. Now you're back to stock Model Y. So you can kind of see from here what sleeping in this as stock Model Y looks like. Here's a little bit of a scuff in my upholstery where the side of the Fruble drawer gives you an idea of how much added headroom that Fruble drawer adds to make this storage space way more usable. So you pull this back, like normally this storage space, like you can barely fit stuff in there. I mean, look how narrow that space is, right? It's like, what was that, maybe like 6 inches of headroom? And then the Fruble added another 4 inches or so. So if you look at this to give yourself perspective, right? Like, look at that. Look how much additional usable storage space you get. Like that to me was one of the neatest things about this whole Fruble system. It's taking a storage space in the Model Y that's barely usable. It's so barely usable that a lot of people forget that it's even there, and turning it into something really functional by adding this much headroom in there so you can actually get stuff in there. And obviously there's a compromise in terms of you lose headroom in the vehicle itself, like when you're sleeping in it, right? Because like that's not an insignificant amount of space. And even just sitting in here, right, versus sitting in here stock versus sitting in here on top of the Fruble platform, you do feel like you got more room over you. But ultimately, if you're going on long trips, if you're going car camping for multiple days or a week or something, those are sort of compromises you have to make if you're going to bring gear with you. If you're not going to be like hotel or motel staying the whole time, because where else is your stuff going to go? Like, where else are you going to have your cooktop, your spices, your dry canned goods, socks, all these other changes, whatever else. But the baseline experience of car camping in the Model Y is still pretty fantastic overall, whether or not you get upgrades like the Fruble Lite. And anyone else who's watching this, who's maybe thinking about getting into EV car camping, like, get out there and try it out, man. Because, like, look at this space. You got all the room you would need, man. And if you're on the shorter side, if you're like probably under 5'5", this issue of like the headrest here and whether or not you need to bring enough stuff to Tetris like a support, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And you could also get around the whole thing of having to dance your chairs forward even. So, yeah. Overall, I've had so many fantastic times in this Model Y. I've loved full self-driving. Full self-driving has been like a game changer, continues to be a game changer. I guess that's a discussion for another video about full self-driving becoming robo-taxis, this vehicle one day becoming a robo-taxi. I'm still holding out hope that that's going to happen. But that's a discussion for another video, like I said. And yeah, I think that's all the summary that I had for the Model Y. It's gonna be tough saying goodbye, but it's not goodbye forever. It's just a farewell until we return in 6 months. And who knows how good full self-driving will be in 6 months. That's gonna be crazy to see returning to this guy. Anyways, that's all I got for you. Talk to you soon.